Have you ever wondered why some people seem to effortlessly attract wealth, success, and happiness, while others stay stuck, frustrated, and overwhelmed no matter how hard they work? Maybe you've asked yourself quietly, is success even meant for me? You watch others rise, build businesses, create freedom, live life on their own terms, and deep down, part of you wonders if they know some secret you missed. Let me tell you today, they do. But it's not locked away in some vault. It's not reserved for the privileged few. It's available to anyone willing to claim it, and that includes you. In this video, we're diving into The Master Key to Riches by Napoleon Hill, the legendary author of Think and Grow Rich. If you've ever read Hill's work or heard his name, you already know this isn't about fluffy motivation or get-rich-quick nonsense. This is about practical, timeless principles that unlock the true definition of riches. Not just money, but confidence, peace of mind, purpose, health, and the freedom to live life fully. Hill spent decades studying the most successful people in history, industrialists, inventors, leaders, and uncovered the psychological blueprint that separates those who thrive from those who barely survive. But here's the truth most people never hear. The master key isn't just for the wealthy or famous. It's not locked behind status or connections. It's inside your mind, your daily habits, your beliefs. And today, I'm going to help you find it. Whether you're building a business, pursuing financial freedom, or simply tired of feeling stuck, what you'll learn today has the power to completely shift your perspective and your results. We'll break down Hill's most powerful ideas from the Master Key to Riches one by one. You'll hear real-world examples of how these principles have transformed lives. You'll get clear, practical ways to apply them in your own life starting today. And by the end of this video, you won't just feel inspired, you'll feel equipped. You'll have tools, mindset shifts, and simple daily actions that can unlock new levels of success in every area of your life. So, if you've ever felt like you're capable of more but unsure how to break through, if you've ever felt like success is out there but somehow keeps slipping through your fingers, stay with me, because the master key that unlocks riches in your mind, your bank account, and your life is closer than you think. And today, we are turning that key together. Let's dive in. Chapter 1. Discovering the True Master Key. Let me ask you something personal. How clear are you right now about the direction of your life? Can you tell me without hesitation what your definite major purpose is? If I stopped you on the street and said, what are you building with your life? What legacy are you leaving behind? Would your answer be clear, bold, confident? Or would there be hesitation, uncertainty, maybe even frustration? If you feel unsure, don't worry, you're not alone. In fact, most people walk through life with only a vague sense of where they're going. They wake up, go to work, handle their responsibilities, scroll through their phones, maybe entertain a dream or two, but they lack the one thing that transforms ordinary people into extraordinary achievers: definiteness of purpose. In The Master Key to Riches, Napoleon Hill reveals something powerful, yet often overlooked. The true master key to wealth, success, and fulfillment is not luck, not talent, not even hard work alone. It's the combination of two unstoppable forces: a crystal-clear purpose and an unwavering positive mental attitude. Let me be clear, this isn't some feel-good motivational slogan. It's the foundation upon which every great success story is built. Let's break this down, starting with definiteness of purpose. Imagine trying to hit a target you can't see. Imagine boarding a ship with no destination in mind. The wind could blow in any direction, storms could appear, distractions pile up, and before you know it, you're lost at sea. Sadly, that's how many people live. They have hopes, they have desires, but they lack a precise, written-down, emotionally charged purpose. They float through jobs, relationships, and opportunities without steering the ship. But the moment you define your purpose with absolute clarity, your entire world shifts. Your mind sharpens, your focus intensifies, and your energy aligns. You stop chasing every shiny distraction and instead you move with intention toward the life you actually want. Now, purpose alone isn't enough. You need fuel to sustain the journey. That's where the positive mental attitude comes in. Your mindset is the emotional engine that drives action. Without it, even the clearest purpose fizzles out under the weight of doubt, fear, and obstacles. But with a positive mental attitude, a belief that success is possible, that challenges are temporary, that you are worthy, you become unstoppable. Think of some of the most successful people on this planet. Oprah Winfrey, for example. Her story is the perfect example of how definiteness of purpose and a positive mental attitude can rewrite a person's destiny. Born into poverty in Mississippi, Oprah faced unimaginable hardship, abuse, rejection, discrimination. By all external appearances, her future looked bleak. But inside, she held on to something most people never cultivate: a burning sense of purpose and an unshakable belief that her life could be different. At just 19 years old, Oprah landed her first news job, but it wasn't smooth sailing. She faced criticism, setbacks, and moments of doubt. But she didn't drift aimlessly. She knew what she wanted. Her definite purpose was to use her voice to inspire, to connect, to uplift others. And she protected that purpose with relentless belief, even when the world told her otherwise. Fast forward to today. Oprah is one of the most influential women on earth. Not just wealthy in terms of money, but rich in impact, in contribution, in fulfillment. She didn't stumble into success by chance. She discovered the master key, and she turned it. Now, I want to bring this conversation back to you. Imagine for a moment that you are standing at the crossroads of your life. One path leads to drifting, more of the same, unclear goals, unmet potential. The other path requires courage, a bold decision to define your purpose and commit to cultivating the right mindset. Which path do you choose? Are you ready to claim the master key? Let me challenge you right now. Can you express your life's major purpose in one clear, powerful sentence? Not a wishy-washy phrase like, "I want to be successful," or "I just want to be happy." I mean a crystal clear, specific, emotionally charged purpose that lights a fire in your soul. Something like, "My purpose is to build a business that creates financial freedom for my family and inspires others to believe in themselves." Or, "My purpose is to master my craft as a teacher and positively impact every student I encounter." Or, "My purpose is to raise my children with love, strength, and wisdom so they grow into confident, kind leaders." Your purpose doesn't have to impress the world. It has to ignite you. It has to be so clear that every decision, every action, every challenge filters through it. When you live this way, your energy focuses, your self-doubt diminishes, and opportunities begin to align. Now, let's be honest. Most people avoid defining their purpose. Why? Because clarity demands responsibility. Once you know what you're here to do, you can't hide behind excuses. But that's where the magic happens. The master key isn't about avoiding work. It's about unlocking the door to your potential and stepping through it with confidence. Napoleon Hill spent decades interviewing the world's most successful people, industrial giants, inventors, leaders, creators. And he found one unshakable truth. They all had definiteness of purpose. They all refused to drift. They all chose belief over doubt. And every single one of them applied the master key, consciously or not. So let me bring this home for you. You have a choice right now. Either drift through life, reacting to circumstances, letting the tides pull you wherever they want, or pause, define your purpose, fuel it with a positive mental attitude, and step on the path of intentional success. You don't need to have all the answers today. You don't need to see every step of the journey, but you do need to start with clarity. Before we move on, I encourage you, Don't just watch this video passively. Grab a notebook, open a journal, sit with yourself. Ask the question, what is my definite purpose? Don't censor your answer. Don't water it down to please others. Be honest, be bold, be specific. This is your life. You deserve clarity. You deserve belief. You deserve to unlock the riches, mental, emotional, and financial, that come with living on purpose. The master key is real. It's worked for millions. It can work for you. And today is the perfect day to start discovering it. Chapter 2. The Power of Belief and Expectation. What if I told you that right now, the results you're getting in life, whether it's your income, your relationships, your health, or your happiness, are being quietly controlled by something invisible? Something most people never even think about, but that operates every single day, shaping their choices, their actions, and ultimately their destiny. That invisible force is belief. And whether you realize it or not, belief and expectation form the ceiling of your success. The good news? You can raise that ceiling. You can rewrite the script running in your mind. But first, you have to become aware of it. Napoleon Hill understood this better than almost anyone. In The Master Key to Riches, he makes it clear, belief isn't just some soft, feel-good concept. It's the foundation of achievement. Your beliefs act like the operating system for your brain. They filter what you notice, what you pursue, and what you think is possible. The tricky part is that most of our beliefs operate on autopilot, formed in childhood, shaped by society, reinforced by our environment. We absorb ideas like, money is hard to make, success is only for the lucky, people like me don't achieve great things. And without realizing it, those beliefs quietly sabotage our dreams. Let me paint a picture. Imagine trying to build a skyscraper with faulty blueprints. No matter how hard you work, no matter how talented the builders are, the structure will collapse if the foundation is flawed. The same goes for your life. If your belief system is riddled with limitations, your results will reflect that, no matter how hard you hustle. But here's the truth that can change everything. Belief is not fixed. You're not born with a set of expectations carved in stone. You can reprogram your beliefs just like updating software. And when you do, your entire life begins to shift. You start seeing opportunities you used to overlook. You take bolder actions. You stop sabotaging yourself with hidden doubts. You raise the ceiling, and suddenly you're playing at a higher level. Think of the greats in any field. Athletes, entrepreneurs, artists, almost all of them mastered the power of belief before the world ever acknowledged their greatness. One of the most iconic examples is Muhammad Ali. Long before he was a world champion, long before his name was recognized globally, Ali declared to anyone who would listen, "I am the greatest." Now, some people heard that and thought it was arrogance, but if you listen closer, you'll realize it wasn't ego. It was belief in action. Ali wasn't waiting for permission to believe in himself. He wasn't waiting for the title to declare his worth. His belief preceded his success, and that belief became a self-fulfilling prophecy. That's the power we're talking about here. Your expectations about yourself, your future, your potential, they are either limiting you or liberating you. They are either building the life you want or reinforcing the one you're stuck in. The question is, which story are you choosing to believe? Let me make this personal. Think about an area of your life where you feel stuck right now. Maybe it's your finances. You want to earn more, but deep down, there's a whisper that says, people like me will never be wealthy. Or maybe it's your confidence. You dream of starting a business, but the quiet belief lingers, I'm not smart enough, I'm not ready. These thoughts may seem small, but they shape your actions every single day. If you expect failure, you hesitate. If you expect rejection, you hold back. But when you shift your belief, even slightly, the results follow. This isn't wishful thinking, it's neuroscience. Your brain is wired to filter information through something called the reticular activating system, or RAS. It acts like a mental spotlight, focusing your attention on what matches your beliefs and expectations. If you believe success is possible, your RAS tunes your mind to notice opportunities, to attract solutions, to recognize the right people. If you believe you'll fail, your RAS filters the world to reinforce that story. It's not magic, it's how your brain protects your sense of reality. So, how do you rewrite the beliefs holding you back? It starts with awareness. You must tune in to the silent narratives running your life. Pay attention to your internal dialogue. What do you say to yourself when you face challenges? Do you lean into possibility, or do you retreat into fear? Most importantly, understand that belief isn't about pretending life is perfect. It's about choosing to believe that growth, success, and greatness are possible even when you don't see immediate evidence. Napoleon Hill reminds us that belief, backed by expectation, creates momentum. When you expect good things, your actions align. You move differently, you project confidence, you persevere longer, and life, in turn, begins to meet you at the level of your expectations. Let me give you another example, one closer to modern times. Consider someone like Sarah Blackley, the founder of Spanx and one of the youngest self-made female billionaires. Before she built her company, she sold fax machines door to door. She faced rejection daily, but inside, her belief system was different. She expected to succeed. She believed she could solve a problem millions of women faced. Even when others laughed at her idea, her belief never wavered. That belief fueled her resilience. And today, Spanx is a global brand. The takeaway? Belief isn't reserved for the few. It's a choice available to you right now. No one can hand it to you. You cultivate it by questioning your old stories, by repeating new affirmations, by taking action even when doubt whispers in your ear. So, I want to challenge you today. Identify one limiting belief that's been running in the background of your mind. Maybe it's, "I'll never get out of debt," or "I'm too old to start over," or "I'm not talented enough to lead." Write that belief down, then rewrite it. Transform it into a powerful, liberating statement that aligns with your highest potential. Say it out loud. Let it feel uncomfortable at first. That's normal. But with repetition, belief takes root, and expectation starts to rise. Remember, your current results are a reflection of yesterday's beliefs, but your future, that's shaped by the beliefs you plant and nurture today. You don't need the world's approval to start believing in yourself. You don't need a perfect track record. You just need the courage to expect more, to believe bigger, and to align your actions with the new story you're writing. The power of belief isn't a secret anymore. It's your greatest tool for transformation. Raise your expectations, rewrite the narrative, and watch your life rise to the level of your belief. Chapter 3. The Law of Cosmic Habit Force. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to make success look effortless? Why certain individuals, regardless of their background, seem to build momentum day after day, stacking win after win, while others struggle to gain traction, no matter how hard they try? The answer lies not in luck, not in talent alone, but in something far more powerful: the law of cosmic habit force. It's a concept Napoleon Hill explains in The Master Key to Riches, and once you understand it, you'll realize that your daily habits are either working as your greatest ally or your silent enemy. Let's get something straight. Success is never random. It might look that way from the outside. When we see athletes winning championships, entrepreneurs building empires, or artists creating masterpieces, we often focus on the result. But the real magic? It happens in the invisible, repetitive routines that shape their days, their decisions, and ultimately, their destiny. This is what Hill refers to as cosmic habit force, a universal law that governs how consistent thoughts and actions over time hardwire themselves into our subconscious. And once they're wired in, they guide our behaviors automatically, for better or worse. Think of your habits like the grooves on a record, or the ruts on a well-worn path. Every time you repeat an action or a thought, you deepen that groove. At first, it takes conscious effort to stay on track, But eventually, those grooves become so established that your mind, like water flowing downhill, follows them effortlessly. That's why breaking bad habits feels so hard, and why cultivating positive habits requires intention and persistence until, one day, those good habits run on autopilot, and success begins to feel natural. One of the most powerful real-world examples of cosmic habit force in action is the story of Kobe Bryant. Known as one of the greatest basketball players of all time, Kobe wasn't just gifted with talent. He was obsessed with discipline, with mastery, with stacking habits that made excellence inevitable. His famous 4 a.m. workouts weren't a one-time show of commitment. They were a daily ritual embedded deep into his identity. Kobe understood what most overlook. Greatness isn't built overnight. It's not about grand gestures or fleeting motivation. It's about showing up day after day, repeating the tiny, often invisible actions that compound into mastery. Whether it was shooting thousands of free throws, studying his opponents, or perfecting his footwork, Kobe's habits, powered by the law of cosmic habit force, created a mental and physical blueprint for excellence. And the truth is, you and I operate under the same law. Your current results, good, bad, or somewhere in between, are a reflection of the habits you have accumulated over time. If you wake up every morning feeling behind, scattered, or frustrated, it's not because success is avoiding you. It's because your habits, your routines, your mental programming are pulling you in the wrong direction. But here's the empowering part. Just as bad habits are created, they can be replaced. You have the ability to reshape your life by reshaping your daily actions, one small step at a time. Hill's law of cosmic habit force teaches us that your subconscious doesn't judge the habits you install. It simply reinforces them. Whether you repeatedly practice confidence or insecurity, wealth building or self-sabotage, focus or distraction, your subconscious accepts the program and runs with it. So the critical question becomes, what habits are you programming into your life? Are they habits that align with your definite major purpose, or are they habits that silently erode your potential? Let me make this simple and practical. You don't need to overhaul your entire life overnight to activate cosmic habit force in your favor. You start small, because small habits compounded over time lead to extraordinary results. Think of the person who decides to read for just 15 minutes a day. At first, it feels insignificant, but fast forward a year and they've consumed the knowledge of dozens of books. Or the entrepreneur who dedicates 30 minutes daily to building their business, even amidst a busy schedule. Over months, that consistent effort snowballs into momentum, skills, and breakthroughs. The process is achievable, but it requires patience. Most people quit before their habits have time to cement. They expect instant transformation, and when it doesn't happen, they slip back into old patterns. But remember this, the law of cosmic habit force rewards the persistent. It rewires your mind and body not in one dramatic leap, but through daily, disciplined repetition. So, what's one small habit you can start today that aligns with your goals? Maybe it's waking up 30 minutes earlier to focus on your purpose. Maybe it's practicing gratitude before bed to rewire your mindset. Maybe it's setting aside time each day to develop a skill, nurture your health, or expand your knowledge. It doesn't have to be complicated. In fact, the simpler the better, because consistency is the key to making the habit stick. And here's the beautiful part. Once your new habit becomes embedded, it no longer requires willpower. It becomes automatic, just like brushing your teeth or tying your shoes. Your mind, guided by cosmic habit force, begins steering you towards success without constant struggle. Let's circle back to Kobe Bryant for a moment. His legendary work ethic wasn't about motivation. It was about identity. Through years of intentional habits, he became the person who outworked everyone. Excellence wasn't something he occasionally did. It was who he was. That's the ultimate power of cosmic habit force. Your habits don't just shape your actions, they shape your self-image. And once your self-image aligns with success, your external results follow naturally. Hill's message is clear. Whether you realize it or not, you are always programming your future through your daily habits. The only question is, are you programming success or sabotage? The law of cosmic habit force doesn't discriminate. It amplifies whatever patterns you repeat, good or bad. So I challenge you right now. Take inventory of your habits. Be honest with yourself. Which routines, big or small, are moving you closer to your definite major purpose? Which ones are pulling you off course? Then choose one small, specific habit to start today. Make it so simple you can't fail. Commit to it for 30 days. Watch how it begins to rewire your mind, your confidence, your momentum. Success isn't a mystery. It's a process. And with the law of cosmic habit force working in your favor, you'll discover that greatness isn't reserved for the lucky few. It's available to anyone willing to master their habits one disciplined day at a time.
Chapter 4. Your definite major purpose. Let me ask you something that may sound simple, but the truth behind it separates those who drift through life from those who shape it. What do you really want? I mean, beyond vague wishes like more money, better health, or happiness. Can you tell me with absolute clarity exactly what your life is aiming toward? If you can't, you're not alone. Most people walk through their days with hazy desires, undefined dreams, and half-hearted intentions. And as Napoleon Hill reveals in The Master Key to Riches, that uncertainty is exactly why most never unlock their full potential, because vague goals produce vague results. Clarity, on the other hand, breeds power. At the heart of Hill's philosophy is the principle of having a definite major purpose. Think of it as your North Star, the clear, unwavering destination that guides your actions, your mindset, and your decisions every single day. Without it, you're like a ship lost at sea, tossed around by circumstances, distractions, and other people's expectations. With it, you become focused, intentional, and most importantly, unstoppable. Let's break this down. Imagine for a moment trying to build a house with no blueprint. You gather bricks, wood, nails, and tools, but you have no clear vision of what you're creating. Every day you work, but your efforts are scattered. Some walls go up, others fall down. And in the end, you're left frustrated, exhausted, and with little to show for it. Sadly, that's how most people approach life. They work hard, they stay busy, but without a definite major purpose, their energy disperses, their actions contradict each other, and their results stay mediocre. But when you define your purpose with precision, everything changes. Your thoughts align, your choices sharpen, your energy consolidates toward a single, meaningful direction. Obstacles no longer feel like roadblocks. They become temporary detours because your eyes are fixed on the ultimate destination. Let me give you a real-world example that perfectly illustrates this, the story of Steve Jobs and his mission with Apple. Now, Steve Jobs wasn't just another entrepreneur trying to sell computers. His definite major purpose wasn't about building gadgets. It was about changing the world by putting the power of technology into the hands of ordinary people. He was obsessed with design, with innovation, with creating products so intuitive and revolutionary that they transformed how we communicate, create, and connect. Think about it. When Apple was just a fledgling company, they weren't the biggest, they didn't have unlimited resources, and Jobs certainly faced setbacks, failures, even being fired from his own company at one point. But his definite major purpose never wavered. That unshakable clarity fueled his decisions, from product development to branding to how Apple positioned itself in the market. It wasn't just about making computers, it was about empowering humanity through technology. That level of purpose built one of the most iconic, valuable companies in history. And the truth is, your definite major purpose doesn't need to be world-changing on a global scale to be powerful. What matters is that it ignites you, that it brings direction to your life, that it filters your actions and makes your days intentional. It could be building a thriving business that gives your family financial security. It could be becoming the healthiest, strongest version of yourself so you can enjoy life fully. It could be writing a book, starting a foundation, mastering a skill, or raising your children with wisdom and love. The specifics are personal, but the principle remains universal. Clarity creates momentum. The clearer your purpose, the easier it becomes to filter out distractions, overcome setbacks, and stay focused when life inevitably tests your resolve. I'll tell you why this matters so much. We live in a world filled with noise, social media, endless entertainment, conflicting advice, the constant comparison trap. If you don't have a definite major purpose anchoring you, you'll be swept up in that chaos. You'll chase other people's goals, you'll lose months, even years, reacting to life instead of designing it. But when your purpose is clear, everything else falls into place. You start to say no to distractions, yes to growth, and every small action compounds toward your greater vision. Now, I want to challenge you because this isn't just about listening to inspiring ideas, it's about applying them right here, right now. I want you to pause for a moment and ask yourself, if I had to define my definite major purpose in one sentence, what would it be? Forget what others expect from you, forget what feels safe or realistic, dig deep. What lights you up? What vision makes your heart race, even if it scares you a little? Write it down, speak it out loud, claim it. And listen, don't worry if your first version isn't perfect. Clarity evolves over time. The key is to start. When Napoleon Hill first shared this principle, he wasn't suggesting you have every detail of your life figured out overnight, but he knew that without direction, your potential remains dormant. Purpose brings it to life. Think of the most fulfilled, successful people you admire. They all operate with definite major purpose. Oprah Winfrey's purpose is to uplift and inspire through storytelling. Elon Musk's purpose is to advance humanity through technology and space exploration. Even everyday heroes, a dedicated teacher shaping young minds, a single parent building a better future for their children, when their purpose is clear, their energy multiplies. And the beautiful thing is that your purpose is unique to you. It doesn't have to mirror anyone else's. The mistake most people make is waiting for external validation before defining their purpose. But purpose isn't handed to you, it's discovered within you. Here's the final truth I want you to remember. A vague goal gets vague results. A clear, emotionally charged, definite major purpose, that's your compass. That's your anchor when the storms hit. That's the fire that keeps you going when others quit. And once you commit to living with that kind of clarity, your life becomes intentional, powerful, and rich in every sense of the word. So as we move forward in this journey together, I invite you to do the hard, rewarding work of defining your definite major purpose. Because when you know where you're going, you stop drifting and you start building a life by design, not by default.
Chapter 5. The 12 Riches of Life. When you hear the word riches, what's the first thing that comes to mind? For most people, the automatic answer is money, financial wealth, material possessions, maybe status symbols like luxury cars or grand houses. And while there's nothing wrong with desiring financial abundance, in fact, it's part of a fulfilling life, it's only one piece of the puzzle. What if I told you that true wealth is much bigger than your bank balance? That the riches of life extend far beyond dollars and cents? That you could be financially rich and still bankrupt in other, more essential areas of life? Napoleon Hill, in The Master Key to Riches, shatters the narrow definition of wealth that society has sold us. He introduces us to what he calls the 12 riches of life, 12 forms of wealth that, when cultivated together, create a life of true abundance, joy, and meaning. These aren't abstract ideas. They're practical dimensions of life that, when nurtured, fuel personal success and fulfillment. And ignoring even one of them can quietly erode your overall happiness, no matter how much money you make. Let's unpack these 12 riches one by one and reflect on how they show up in your life. Because recognizing where you're abundant and where you're lacking is the first step toward building holistic wealth. A positive mental attitude. Everything starts here. Your thoughts, beliefs, and mindset color your entire experience of life. You've probably met people who seem to have everything materially, yet they walk through life bitter, negative, or anxious. They may have wealth,
but they lack the true richness that comes from an optimistic, resilient mindset. Cultivating a positive mental attitude isn't just about feeling good, it's the foundation for every other form of wealth. Sound physical health. It doesn't matter how much success you achieve if your body breaks down. I've seen countless examples of individuals who burned themselves out chasing financial goals only to realize too late that they neglected their health. Take the story of Steve Jobs, a visionary who changed the world but ultimately faced health challenges that cut his journey short. His legacy is immense, but it's a sobering reminder that wealth without health is a fragile illusion. True riches include caring for your body through exercise, nutrition, rest, and mindful habits. Harmony in human relationships. Success means little if your personal life is filled with conflict, loneliness, or resentment. Whether it's your family, friends, romantic partners, or colleagues, nurturing meaningful, harmonious relationships is a priceless form of wealth. Think of the happiest, most fulfilled people you know. They likely have strong connections, support systems, and relationships built on trust and love. Wealth isn't just numbers, it's people. Freedom from fear. Imagine achieving financial or professional success, yet constantly living in anxiety, insecurity, or fear of failure. That's not true wealth, it's imprisonment. Hill reminds us that courage, faith, and emotional resilience are critical riches. When you free yourself from fear of rejection, fear of scarcity, fear of judgment, you open doors to experiences and achievements that fear would otherwise block. The hope of future achievement. Hope is powerful. It's the driving force that keeps you striving, believing, and growing even when challenges arise. People who lose hope lose momentum, and without momentum, success feels out of reach. Maintaining hope for your future, setting inspiring goals, and believing in your potential are forms of wealth that fuel your journey. The capacity of applied faith. Faith isn't just a spiritual concept, it's a practical, actionable force that moves you forward. Applied faith means trusting in your purpose, your abilities, and the process, even when immediate results aren't visible. Without faith, people give up too soon. But with it, you tap into perseverance and creativity that lead to breakthroughs. The willingness to share one's blessings. True wealth isn't hoarded, it's shared. Generosity, contribution, and service to others expand your impact and deepen your fulfillment. Look at people like Bill Gates or Warren Buffett, who, despite immense financial success, find deeper meaning through philanthropy. Sharing your time, knowledge, or resources multiplies abundance, not just for others, but for yourself. To be engaged in a labor of love. Work is a huge part of life. When you align your career or daily work with your passions and strengths, life feels purposeful. When you dread your work, even massive paychecks feel empty. Pursuing a labor of love doesn't mean every day is perfect, but it means your efforts feel aligned with your values and aspirations. An open mind on all subjects. Growth requires curiosity, humility, and openness to new ideas. Closed-mindedness limits opportunities. But when you remain teachable and willing to challenge your beliefs, you unlock new levels of insight, relationships, and personal development. An open mind is a quiet but powerful form of wealth. Self-discipline. Success requires consistency, and consistency requires discipline. It's the ability to do what needs to be done even when motivation fades. Whether it's managing your health, building your business, or improving your relationships, self-discipline is the bridge between goals and results. The capacity to understand people. Emotional intelligence, empathy, and understanding others' motivations and behaviors can accelerate your success exponentially. Life and business are built on relationships. The more you understand people, the better you communicate, collaborate, and lead. Economic security. Yes, financial wealth matters, but notice it's only one of 12. Economic security provides stability, freedom, and the ability to invest in your dreams. But as Hill wisely points out, when you pursue wealth while neglecting health, relationships, or mental well-being, that wealth becomes fragile and fleeting. Let's reflect together. As you hear these 12 riches, positive mental attitude, sound health, harmonious relationships, freedom from fear, hope, applied faith, generosity, labor of love, open-mindedness, self-discipline, understanding people, and economic security, where are you thriving? Where are you abundant? And, just as importantly, where are you bankrupt? Awareness is the first step to change. Maybe your finances are improving, but your health is suffering. Maybe your relationships are strong, but fear still holds you back. Maybe your work feels fulfilling, but your mindset needs work. The goal isn't perfection, it's balance. True wealth is holistic. When you nurture all 12 riches, life feels abundant, not just materially, but mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. The greatest lesson Hill offers is that these riches are interconnected. Neglecting one area quietly undermines the others, but nurturing even a single riches, like improving your mindset, health, or relationships, creates a ripple effect that elevates your entire life. So here's your challenge. Choose one of the 12 riches to focus on starting today. Maybe it's improving your health, deepening a relationship, or building your self-discipline. Take one small, intentional action. With consistency, those small actions compound, transforming not just your circumstances, but your entire experience of wealth and fulfillment. The 12 riches of life remind us that success isn't measured by income alone. It's reflected in the quality of your mind, body, relationships, purpose, and contribution. You deserve a rich life in every sense of the word. The question is, are you ready to claim it?
Chapter 6. Applied Faith in Action. Let's talk about faith. Not the passive, sit-back-and-hope kind of faith, but the unstoppable, action-driven force that transforms dreams into reality. You see, too many people confuse faith with waiting. They think faith means sitting on the sidelines, crossing their fingers, hoping life magically turns around. But Napoleon Hill, in The Master Key to Riches, makes something very clear. Faith isn't passive, it's applied. It's living, breathing, and expressed through action, especially when uncertainty clouds the path. Applied faith is the decision to believe in your vision, your purpose, your potential, and to take bold steps toward it, even when logic screams otherwise. It's easy to believe when the path is clear, when the results are visible, when success feels guaranteed. But applied faith shows its true power in the moments of doubt, setbacks, and apparent impossibility. That's when belief becomes your greatest weapon. Look around at history's most remarkable achievements, and you'll see applied faith in action. Take the story of Thomas Edison, the man behind the light bulb. Today, we flick a switch and light fills the room in seconds. But back in Edison's day, creating electric light was considered fantasy, a ridiculous, impossible dream. Yet Edison wasn't interested in impossibility. He was interested in application. He didn't just hope the light bulb would work. He poured his belief into relentless experimentation. Thousands of failed attempts didn't break him. Every failure refined his approach. Every setback deepened his resolve. That's applied faith. It's belief fueled by action. Imagine how easy it would have been for Edison to quit. Friends doubting him, experts ridiculing him, failed prototype after prototype stacking up like evidence against his dream. But faith doesn't crumble under failure. It sharpens. Edison once famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That mindset is the heart of applied faith. Unwavering belief combined with bold, continuous action, regardless of temporary defeat. But let's bring this idea closer to home. You may not be inventing the next groundbreaking technology, but every single one of us faces moments that demand applied faith. Maybe it's pursuing a business idea when everyone says you're crazy. Maybe it's investing in your education even when resources are tight. Maybe it's having the courage to leave a toxic relationship, trusting that better connections lie ahead. These aren't easy choices, but applied faith isn't born in comfort. It's forged in uncertainty, fear, and challenge. So, how do you cultivate applied faith in daily life? First, understand this. It begins with your thoughts. Faith isn't built externally. It starts internally, with the quiet decision to believe in possibilities greater than your current circumstances. That's where gratitude plays a vital role. Gratitude isn't just a feel-good practice, it's a weapon against fear. When you consciously appreciate what you already have, your mind shifts from scarcity to abundance. You stop seeing lack and start recognizing potential. Gratitude primes your brain to expect good things, which strengthens your faith. Next comes visualization. If you can't see your dream in your mind, how can you ever create it in reality? Visualization is mental rehearsal. Olympians use it before races, entrepreneurs use it before pitching ideas, leaders use it before making tough decisions. You close your eyes, immerse yourself in the vision of your success. Feel the emotions as if it's already happening. This mental rehearsal rewires your subconscious, making belief more natural and powerful. But faith, no matter how strong internally, must translate into action. You can have the most vivid vision, but without action, it remains a fantasy. Applied faith demands movement. Even small, imperfect steps send a message to your mind. I believe this is possible. Action builds momentum. Momentum fuels belief. It's a cycle that transforms invisible dreams into visible results. Consider the countless entrepreneurs who risked everything to build their vision. Think of Sarah Blakely, the founder of Spanx. She didn't have a business background, millions in funding, or unanimous support, but she had faith. Faith applied through action. She created prototypes, pitched relentlessly, heard no repeatedly, yet she kept moving. Today she's a billionaire, not because luck favored her, but because her faith fueled her persistence. The same principle applies to your life. You may feel stuck right now, doubting your abilities, your ideas, your future, but applied faith isn't about eliminating fear. It's about acting in spite of it. It's deciding that your dream, your growth, your purpose is worth the risk of discomfort. Because here's the truth, fear never truly disappears, but your courage grows stronger with every step you take. So I want to challenge you today. Reflect on your life. Where has fear stalled you? Is there a dream gathering dust because uncertainty overwhelmed you? Is there a conversation, decision, or action you've avoided waiting for the perfect moment? Applied faith doesn't wait for perfection. It creates momentum now, no matter how small the step. Maybe that step is writing down your definite major purpose. Maybe it's making one phone call, sending one email, practicing one skill. Applied faith isn't always grand. It's consistent. Small daily acts of belief compound into extraordinary transformation. Remember, every success story you admire was written by someone who mastered applied faith. Edison with his light bulb, Oprah Winfrey building an empire from humble beginnings, Elon Musk launching rockets against impossible odds. They all faced uncertainty, but they refused to let fear define their future. With applied faith, obstacles shrink, challenges become stepping stones, doors you thought were locked forever start to open. And most importantly, your confidence expands because every action reinforces the belief that you're capable, worthy, and equipped to achieve your goals. You have that power within you right now. Faith is not reserved for the chosen few. It's available to anyone who decides to believe and act. You don't need guarantees. You don't need every answer. You just need the courage to take the next step, fueled by unwavering belief that your vision matters. Applied faith is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. It turns invisible potential into tangible progress. It turns fear into fuel, and when you practice it daily, through gratitude, visualization, and bold action, you'll discover that the life you dream of isn't as distant as it seems. So, what's your next act of faith? Don't overthink it. Don't wait for the stars to align. Pick one small, courageous action today and take it. With each step, your belief strengthens, your momentum grows, and your vision comes alive. That's the true power of applied faith, and it's ready for you to claim it.
Chapter 7.
The mastermind advantage. Let me tell you a secret that separates those who struggle alone from those who rise to extraordinary heights. The secret is the mastermind. You see, success is rarely the product of solo effort. Behind every remarkable achievement, every world-changing invention, every enduring legacy, you'll find a team, a group of aligned, ambitious individuals pooling their minds, their energy, their ideas. Napoleon Hill, in The Master Key to Riches, calls this the mastermind principle. And once you grasp its power, you'll never look at your relationships the same way again. The idea is simple but profound. When two or more minds come together in harmony, they create a third, invisible yet tangible force, a mastermind. It's not just addition, it's multiplication, it's synergy. When you align yourself with the right people, those who challenge you, uplift you, share your vision, the collective energy, creativity, and momentum accelerate your success far beyond what you could achieve alone. Think about it. Even the most iconic individuals in history didn't climb the mountain solo. Henry Ford revolutionized the automobile industry. But behind him stood a circle of brilliant collaborators, including Thomas Edison, Harvey Firestone, and other industrial visionaries. These men weren't just acquaintances, they were a living, breathing mastermind. They exchanged ideas, solved complex problems, and inspired one another to push beyond limitations. The result? They didn't just build companies, they changed the world. Or look at modern examples like Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak. Would Apple exist without the synergy of those two complementary minds? Jobs was the visionary, the marketer, the relentless perfectionist. Wozniak was the technical genius, the engineer. Alone, their talents had limits. Together, their mastermind birthed a global empire that transformed how we communicate, work, and create. The lesson is undeniable. Who you surround yourself with shapes your trajectory. Your associations either expand your potential or quietly sabotage your growth. Too many people remain stuck, not because they lack ability, but because they're entangled in circles that drain their energy, diminish their ambition, and reinforce limitation. You cannot soar like an eagle if you're nesting with pigeons. Take a moment and reflect honestly. Who's in your inner circle? Are you surrounded by people who believe in possibilities, who challenge you to grow, who spark new ideas? Or do your associations dwell in negativity, complacency, and small thinking? The people closest to you influence your mindset, your standards, and your actions more than you realize. If you want to elevate your life, you must elevate your circle. Now, building a mastermind doesn't happen by accident. It's intentional. It requires seeking out individuals who align with your vision, who complement your strengths, who share your hunger for growth. Your mastermind can take many forms. It could be a formal group like a business network, a study circle, a mentorship program. Or it could be informal, the mentors you learn from, the peers you brainstorm with, the friends who hold you accountable. But the principle remains constant: alignment and harmony. Hill emphasizes that for a mastermind to thrive, the members must share trust, respect, and a common purpose. It's not enough to gather talented people. You need unity. You need an environment where ideas flow freely, where constructive challenge is welcomed, and where every member's success uplifts the whole. Let me give you another example, one that proves you don't have to be rich or famous to experience the mastermind advantage. Consider community entrepreneurs who form mastermind groups to support each other's businesses. They meet weekly or monthly, sharing insights, resources, encouragement, and honest feedback. Individually, they face challenges, marketing struggles, self-doubt, strategic roadblocks. But together, their collective wisdom solves problems faster, their accountability fuels consistency, and their shared energy keeps motivation high. Over time, their businesses grow not just because of personal effort, but because of the mastermind effect. That's the magic. When minds align, ideas sharpen, creativity expands, and obstacles shrink. Problems that feel overwhelming alone become manageable with a mastermind behind you. You gain perspective, you borrow courage, you access solutions beyond your personal experience. But here's the key. You can't wait for the perfect mastermind to appear. You have to create it. Start by being intentional about your relationships. Seek out people who elevate you. Connect with mentors, peers, or even virtual communities aligned with your aspirations. It's not always about proximity. It's about energy alignment. And let's be real, sometimes applying the mastermind principle requires tough choices. You may need to distance yourself from toxic influences, from circles that belittle your dreams or encourage mediocrity. Growth demands space. If your current environment stifles your ambition, you owe it to yourself to create a new one. This is your invitation to audit your circle. Ask yourself, who brings out my best? Who challenges me to think bigger? Who supports my vision even when the results aren't immediate? Equally, who drains my energy? Who plants seeds of doubt? Who reinforces limitation? Once you identify the gaps, take action. Join groups, attend events, reach out to mentors, initiate conversations. Building a mastermind isn't just about receiving, it's about contributing. Show up with value. Share your insights. Celebrate others' wins. The more you give, the more the mastermind amplifies in your life. And don't underestimate small beginnings. Many of history's most powerful masterminds started as simple conversations between like-minded individuals. From garage startups to coffee shop brainstorming sessions, the principle is timeless. When minds connect with shared purpose, success accelerates. Let me leave you with this thought. No one achieves greatness alone. Behind every success is a network, a tribe, a mastermind. You are the average of the people you spend the most time with. If you want to elevate your income, your mindset, your fulfillment, elevate your circle. Start today. Assess your associations. Seek out growth-minded individuals. Nurture relationships that challenge and uplift you. Build your mastermind and watch how your confidence, clarity, and success multiply. Because when aligned minds unite, the impossible becomes inevitable. That's the mastermind advantage, and it's available to you right now.
Chapter 8. Transforming Adversity into Opportunity. Let's face it, adversity is part of life. It doesn't knock politely. It doesn't wait for the perfect moment. It shows up, often uninvited, crashing into your plans, shaking your confidence, and testing your resolve. But here's the truth most people overlook. While adversity is inevitable, suffering is optional. You don't control the storms life throws your way, but you do control how you respond, how you grow, and what you choose to build from the rubble. Napoleon Hill in The Master Key to Riches reminds us that every setback, every defeat, every hardship carries within it the seeds of an equivalent or greater benefit. But those seeds don't sprout automatically. You must look for them, nurture them, and have the courage to believe that behind every difficulty hides an opportunity for growth, for strength, for transformation. Consider the story of J.K. Rowling, the billionaire author behind the Harry Potter phenomenon. Today, her name is synonymous with success, imagination, and global impact. But rewind the clock, and you'll find a woman at rock bottom, divorced, living on welfare, raising her child alone, and facing rejection after rejection from publishers. She poured her heart into writing the story that had lived in her mind for years, only to be told no repeatedly. Imagine how easy it would have been for her to give up, to believe the critics, to surrender her dream. But Rowling understood something essential. Adversity isn't the end, it's a test. It challenges your belief, sharpens your determination, and reveals the depth of your purpose. Every no she faced fueled her desire to succeed. She kept refining, kept believing, kept showing up. And when one small publisher finally said yes, her life and the lives of millions of readers changed forever. That's the hidden gift of adversity. It strips away illusions, forcing you to confront your character, your commitment, and your vision. It humbles you, but it also strengthens you. The discomfort of failure, rejection, or loss can either paralyze you or prepare you. The choice is yours. And let's be honest, adversity hurts. There's no sugarcoating the sting of setbacks, the heartbreak of lost opportunities, the frustration of repeated failures, the disappointment when life doesn't unfold as planned. But buried beneath that pain lies your greatest opportunity. The opportunity to rise, to evolve, to become someone you never imagined possible. Think about your own life for a moment. Reflect on the challenges you faced, the moments that felt like breaking points. Maybe it was a failed relationship that shattered your confidence. Maybe it was a job loss that shook your sense of security. Maybe it was a health scare, a betrayal, or a personal mistake that left you questioning your worth. Now I want you to look closer. What did those moments teach you? How did they refine your character? What strengths, insights, or new directions emerged from that struggle? Because here's the empowering reality. The very experiences you once resented may have been the training ground for your greatest growth. Adversity exposes your weaknesses, but it also reveals your hidden strengths. It shows you what you're capable of under pressure. It stretches your resilience. It forces creativity, humility, and resourcefulness to the surface. Some of the world's most successful people credit their greatest achievements to the lessons learned in their darkest hours. Look at Oprah Winfrey. Raised in poverty, facing abuse, rejection, and countless obstacles. She could have been a victim of her circumstances, but adversity didn't destroy her. It molded her into one of the most influential, compassionate, and powerful figures of our time. Her hardships deepened her empathy. Her failures fueled her purpose. Her setbacks became the foundation for her unstoppable rise. Or consider Nelson Mandela, 27 years in prison, stripped of freedom, separated from family, enduring unimaginable hardship. Yet from that adversity emerged not bitterness, but wisdom, forgiveness, and leadership that would change a nation. Mandela once said, "The glory of living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall." That's the spirit of transforming adversity into opportunity. It's easy to admire these stories from afar, but the same principle applies to your life right now. You may not control the storms, but you can choose whether to wither or to weather them. You can choose to see your failures not as final defeats, but as feedback, to view rejection as redirection, to treat pain as a catalyst for personal evolution. And I know what you might be thinking, but my situation feels impossible. And maybe it does. Maybe the challenges feel overwhelming. But remember, every person you admire has walked through their own valley of adversity. Their success wasn't handed to them. It was forged in the fires of hardship. The question is, will you let your adversity define you or refine you? I challenge you now to reflect. Think of one major adversity you faced. Re-examine it, not with regret, but with curiosity. What hidden lessons did it offer? How did it prepare you for where you are today? And most importantly, how can you use that experience as fuel to pursue your dreams with greater courage and wisdom? You see, adversity isn't your enemy. It's your initiation. It invites you to rise stronger, wiser, and more determined than ever before. When you transform your hardships into stepping stones, you unlock a level of resilience that no one can take from you. So the next time life knocks you down, and it will,
Remember, you are not defined by your defeats, but by how you rise. Every challenge carries a hidden opportunity. The question is, will you seize it? Because within every storm lies the seed of your greatest breakthrough. Chapter 9. The Power of Self-Discipline. Let's be brutally honest for a moment. Dreaming is easy. Anyone can sit back and imagine success, the wealth, the freedom, the recognition. It feels good to visualize that future. But how many people actually live it? How many cross that invisible line between dreaming and doing? The truth? Very few. And the reason is simple. Most people crave the destination but resist the journey. They love the fantasy of success but resist the reality of discipline. Napoleon Hill understood this better than anyone, which is why in The Master Key to Riches, he elevates self-discipline as one of the most essential tools for building a life of success, wealth, and fulfillment. Self-discipline isn't glamorous. It doesn't go viral on social media. It doesn't earn applause in the short term, but it's the silent architect behind every lasting achievement. Without it, even the boldest intentions crumble under the weight of distraction, excuses, and inconsistency. Let me ask you a hard question. How many times have you set a goal, whether it's to get in shape, build a business, improve your finances, and despite your excitement, despite your initial burst of motivation, you fell off track? Maybe you started with fire, but when the grind set in, the early mornings, the late nights, the sacrifices, the enthusiasm faded. Suddenly, your dream felt distant, buried under procrastination, doubt, or comfort. You're not alone. Discipline is hard. But here's the liberating truth. Discipline isn't punishment. It's the highest form of self-respect. It's the daily decision to honor your potential, to align your actions with your vision, even when you don't feel like it. It's the refusal to let temporary discomfort sabotage permanent growth. Think about the people who embody success, not just in the fleeting sense, but with consistency, mastery, and longevity. One name that always comes to mind is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Today, The Rock is a global icon, a powerhouse in entertainment, fitness, and entrepreneurship. But beneath the fame is an unparalleled work ethic rooted in self-discipline. Consider his daily routine. While most people are still asleep, The Rock is up before sunrise, grinding in the gym, pushing his body, his limits, his mind. Not once a week, not when it's convenient, every single day. Rain or shine, film schedule, or family commitments, the discipline remains. His success isn't luck. It's the compounded result of thousands of disciplined, unseen decisions. But here's what most people miss. Discipline isn't reserved for celebrities, athletes, or high achievers. It's accessible to anyone, regardless of background, resources, or current circumstances. You don't need extraordinary talent to be disciplined. You need commitment. You need clarity of purpose. You need the courage to say, I will show up for myself even when no one is watching. Self-discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. It's what transforms intentions into results, dreams into reality, potential into power. Without discipline, your goals remain fantasies floating in the distance. With discipline, those same goals become inevitable. But let's get practical, because discipline isn't just about grand gestures. It's built in the small, often invisible choices you make daily. Waking up on time when your bed seduces you with comfort. Choosing to exercise when your body craves ease. Working on your business, your craft, your skills when distractions beckon. Reading that book when scrolling through your phone feels easier. Discipline happens in the micro moments, and those moments compound. Here's the empowering part. Discipline is a muscle. The more you practice it, the stronger it grows. At first, it feels unnatural, maybe even painful, but with repetition, it becomes identity. You stop negotiating with yourself. You stop relying on fleeting motivation. You simply act, because that's who you've trained yourself to be. Think about it like this. Imagine your life as a house under construction. Every disciplined action is a brick, small but essential. Some days laying that brick feels exciting. Other days it feels tedious, but you lay it anyway. Over time, the walls rise, the structure forms, the vision materializes. But skip too many bricks, neglect the discipline, and your house crumbles under pressure. Dreams collapse not because people lack vision, but because they abandon the small, consistent efforts required to build them. This principle applies to every area of life. Want financial freedom? Discipline with your spending, saving, and investing creates wealth. Want health and vitality? Discipline with your nutrition, exercise, and rest creates a strong body. Want mastery in your career? Discipline in learning, practicing, and showing up creates expertise. There are no shortcuts, only the compounded power of discipline. But let me be clear, discipline isn't perfection. You will slip. You will face moments of weakness. But true discipline is the ability to recommit, to course correct, to return to your path without shame or self-sabotage. It's about consistency, not flawlessness. Take a moment now to audit your life. Where is inconsistency sabotaging your progress? Maybe your mornings lack structure. Maybe your goals live in your head but not in your calendar. Maybe your environment is filled with distractions, social media, negativity, excuses that erode your discipline. Awareness is the first step to change. The good news, you can cultivate discipline starting today. Begin with one area, your health, your finances, your mindset. Set a small, non-negotiable commitment. Maybe it's 10 minutes of reading, a short workout, journaling your goals. The size doesn't matter, the consistency does. And as you follow through, your confidence grows. Your identity shifts. You stop seeing yourself as someone who struggles and start embodying someone who shows up no matter what. Understand this, discipline compounds. What feels hard today becomes your new normal. Actions that once required willpower become habits. And those habits create momentum. Momentum that carries you through challenges, doubt, and fatigue. Look around at those stuck in mediocrity. It's rarely a lack of dreams, it's a lack of discipline. They want the rewards without the responsibility. But success demands more. It demands the willingness to do what others avoid, to persist when motivation fades, to sacrifice short-term comfort for long-term fulfillment. And here's the paradox. The more disciplined you become, the freer you feel. Freedom isn't doing whatever you want whenever you want. That leads to chaos. Real freedom is having control over your actions, your habits, your destiny. Discipline is self-mastery, and mastery creates freedom. So I challenge you now to redefine your relationship with discipline. See it not as restriction, but as empowerment. Not as punishment, but as profound self-respect. Every time you follow through on your commitments, you build trust with yourself. And that trust is the foundation of unshakable confidence. Ask yourself, where can I apply more discipline starting today? What small action, done consistently, would create massive momentum in my life? Don't overthink it. Start simple. Start now. Because dreams may inspire you, but discipline transforms you. And the life you desire isn't built in bursts of motivation. It's forged brick by brick, choice by choice, with the quiet, relentless power of self-discipline.
Chapter 10. Leadership through Personal Initiative. Let me share with you one of the most uncomfortable truths about success. The world isn't waiting to hand you opportunities. No one's coming with a neatly wrapped package labeled "Your Big Break." The people who rise to the top, who transform industries, who leave lasting legacies, they don't wait for permission. They create the opportunities. They lead by example. They ignite change. Not because someone asked them to, but because they decided to step up. This is the essence of what Napoleon Hill calls leadership through personal initiative in The Master Key to Riches. And make no mistake, personal initiative is the invisible force that separates dreamers from doers, spectators from leaders.
It's not about titles, job positions, or waiting for external validation. It's about seeing what needs to be done and having the courage to do it. Look around at the people we admire most, the innovators, the disruptors, the visionaries. One name stands out like a lightning bolt in today's world: Elon Musk. Love him or hate him, you cannot deny his impact. Musk didn't stumble into success by playing it safe. He didn't wait for someone to assign him the task of revolutionizing electric cars, space travel, or global internet connectivity. He saw gaps where others saw impossibilities. He acted where others hesitated. That's personal initiative in its rawest form. Think about SpaceX. Before Musk, the idea of private companies sending rockets into space was laughed at. Space travel? That's for governments, they said. Too risky, too expensive, too complicated. But Musk wasn't interested in waiting for permission. He saw humanity's destiny among the stars, and he took initiative. Despite failed launches, financial near collapse, and relentless criticism, he persisted. Today, SpaceX isn't just a space company. It's a symbol of what happens when bold initiative meets unwavering belief. But leadership through personal initiative isn't reserved for billionaires or tech moguls. It applies to every area of your life: your career, your relationships, your community, your personal growth. It's about refusing to drift through life on autopilot, waiting for someone else to fix problems, solve challenges, or chart your course. It's about stepping forward, even when it's uncomfortable, even when the path isn't clear, even when no one's clapping for you. Yet you've seen this principle in action. Think about your workplace. There are two types of people: those who wait to be told what to do, sticking strictly to their job description, and those who see a problem, an inefficiency, a better way, and they take action. They don't wait for an invitation. They don't complain from the sidelines. They step up. They lead. And over time, those are the people who rise, the ones trusted with more responsibility, more opportunities, more impact. But the same applies to relationships. Have you ever noticed how fulfilling connections don't just happen by chance? They're built by people who take initiative, who communicate, who resolve conflict, who invest time and energy without waiting for the other person to make the first move. Initiative builds trust, deepens bonds, and creates lasting partnerships, personally and professionally. But here's where most people get stuck: the passive mindset. Society trains us to be reactive. We're conditioned to wait for approval, for perfect timing, for guarantees. We tell ourselves stories like, "When I get the right job, then I'll lead," or "When I feel confident, then I'll take action." But life doesn't work that way. Confidence follows action, not the other way around. And leadership is forged in the decision to act, especially when uncertainty lingers. You don't need all the answers to take initiative. You need clarity of purpose and the willingness to start. Personal initiative means seeing possibilities where others see problems. It means being solution-focused, resourceful, and proactive. It means taking responsibility for your growth, your success, your impact without excuses. Let me share a story that proves this principle at any level. Consider the young woman who starts in an entry-level job at a company. On paper, her role is basic: data entry, customer service, administrative tasks. But she notices inefficiencies, a process that slows the team down, clients frustrated with outdated systems. Instead of complaining or waiting for management to notice, she suggests improvements. She volunteers to pilot new tools. She brings solutions, not problems. Her initiative gets noticed. She earns trust. Soon, she's promoted. Eventually, she leads the department. This isn't hypothetical. Countless leaders started exactly this way, not with authority granted, but with initiative taken.
They lead before the title arrives. They influence before they're officially in charge. That's the heartbeat of real leadership. It starts with action, not position. Hill emphasizes that personal initiative is a habit, a muscle you develop over time. The more you practice stepping up, the easier it becomes. You train yourself to spot opportunities. You condition yourself to act decisively. And with each act of initiative, your confidence grows, your influence expands, and your results multiply. But let's be honest, taking initiative can be intimidating. It means embracing risk. You might fail, you might face criticism, you might ruffle feathers. But here's the empowering truth. Your comfort zone is not your growth zone. If you only act when it's safe, you limit your potential. Personal initiative requires courage. The courage to try, to speak up, to innovate, even when success isn't guaranteed. And don't underestimate the ripple effect of your initiative. One bold action can inspire others to rise. One solution you propose can transform an entire system. One moment of leadership can shift your trajectory and the trajectory of those around you. So, how do you cultivate personal initiative starting today? Begin by looking around. Where is there a need, a gap, an opportunity for improvement? It could be at work, at home, in your health, your finances, your community. Identify one area where you've been passive, where you've waited for approval, for perfect timing, for someone else to lead. Then commit to taking action. It doesn't have to be massive. The key is momentum. Maybe it's suggesting a new idea at work. Maybe it's initiating a tough but necessary conversation. Maybe it's starting that project, that business, that dream you've been postponing. Action builds clarity. Clarity builds confidence, and confidence builds leadership. And remember, leadership isn't about titles. It's about influence, initiative, and impact. The world doesn't need more passive observers. It needs courageous initiators, people willing to act, to solve, to create without waiting for applause. The question is, are you ready to lead your life with initiative? To stop waiting for ideal conditions and start building them? To step boldly toward your goals, knowing that leadership begins the moment you choose to take action? The world belongs to those who act. Your success, your growth, your fulfillment, they all hinge on your ability to lead through personal initiative. It's your move. Will you take it? Chapter 11. Riches Through Service to Others. Let me share something with you that most people never truly grasp, yet it's the most profound, most reliable, and most fulfilling path to riches. Not just financial wealth, but emotional, spiritual, and legacy-driven success. It's the realization that true prosperity doesn't come from chasing money, manipulating circumstances, or focusing solely on personal gain. It comes from service, from contribution, from using your gifts to solve problems, uplift others, and create real, lasting value in the world. Napoleon Hill, in The Master Key to Riches, places this principle at the very heart of his philosophy. Riches, whether measured in dollars, relationships, peace of mind, or influence, flow directly from your willingness to serve others. The bigger the problem you solve, the more people you help, the greater the value you create, the more wealth naturally gravitates toward you. It's not magic, it's cause and effect. It's the universal law of compensation. Yet, sadly, many people chase riches backwards. They focus on accumulation, not contribution. They ask, how can I get more? Instead of, how can I give more? How can I serve more? How can I solve bigger problems? And because of that mindset, they struggle, constantly running on the treadmill of frustration, feeling stuck, unseen, and undercompensated. But the world doesn't reward selfishness, it rewards service. Think about the most successful, fulfilled individuals in any field. Entrepreneurs, artists, leaders, innovators. Their wealth didn't appear because they obsessively pursued money for money's sake. It appeared because they focused on serving others, meeting needs, improving lives, solving problems that mattered. Look at Oprah Winfrey's journey. Her empire isn't built solely on media. It's built on service. For decades, she's created platforms for people's stories, inspired millions to grow, and provided education, empowerment, and hope to countless lives. Her wealth, influence, and impact are byproducts of her dedication to serving others with authenticity, compassion, and purpose. Or take Elon Musk, a polarizing figure, no doubt, but at his core, his wealth exploded because he solved problems on a global scale. Electric vehicles with Tesla, affordable space exploration with SpaceX, renewable energy solutions with SolarCity. Musk's riches follow the size of the challenges he's willing to tackle for the benefit of society. But let's bring this down to your life, your level. You don't need to be a billionaire to embrace riches through service. Every day presents countless opportunities to create value for others, whether in your job, your business, your relationships, or your community. The key is shifting your mindset from what's in it for me to how can I serve? How can I contribute? How can I solve? Service doesn't diminish your wealth, it multiplies it. When you focus on meeting people's needs, building trust, and delivering consistent value, opportunities, connections, and financial rewards flow naturally. You become indispensable. You elevate your reputation. You open doors that stay locked to those chasing only self-interest. Consider the small business owner who survives economic storms not because of luck, but because they build a business anchored in service. They listen to their customers, they improve their products, they solve pain points, and as they serve, loyalty grows, referrals multiply, revenue increases, their impact expands. Not by focusing solely on profit, but by focusing relentlessly on people. Or think of the teacher who changes lives beyond textbooks, the mentor who sees potential in struggling students, who offers guidance, patience, and belief. Their riches may not always show up as dollars, but their impact ripples across generations. Their service plants seeds that bloom in ways no paycheck alone ever could. The beauty of this principle is that service is scalable. It starts with small acts, listening deeply, going the extra mile, solving problems within your reach. But as your capacity grows, so does your ability to serve on larger scales, through businesses, innovations, movements, and platforms that touch millions. Hill reminds us that riches in their truest sense are holistic. Yes, financial abundance matters, but so does peace of mind, self-respect, loving relationships, a sense of purpose, and the satisfaction of knowing you've made the world a little better through your efforts. Service to others is the doorway to all those riches. But here's where most people hesitate. They underestimate their own value. They believe, who am I to serve? What do I have to offer? But the reality is, everyone has unique talents, passions, and experiences that can enrich others' lives. You don't need perfection. You don't need permission. You simply need the willingness to show up and offer what you can, where you can, with what you have. Maybe your service is teaching. Maybe it's inventing. Maybe it's healing, entertaining, leading, or simply uplifting people through your words and presence. The form doesn't matter. The impact does. When you align your work with service, even the most ordinary task becomes extraordinary. Ask yourself now, what problems am I passionate about solving? Where do my talents meet the needs of others? How can I use my skills, my story, my experiences to serve on a deeper level? These aren't theoretical questions. They're the foundation of your richest life. And don't confuse service with self-sacrifice to the point of burnout. True service is sustainable. It nourishes both giver and receiver. It aligns with your passions, energizes your efforts, and creates mutual value. When you serve authentically, you elevate yourself alongside others.
The more people you serve, the more value you create, the more doors open, financially, emotionally, spiritually, because service builds trust, and trust is the currency of lasting success. Look around the world today. The individuals, businesses, and movements thriving aren't necessarily the loudest. They're the most service-driven. They listen, they adapt, they uplift, and as a result, they prosper. Hill's final lesson is clear. Riches through service is the master strategy for building not only wealth, but legacy. It's the key to fulfillment that doesn't fade, to success that isn't hollow, to impact that echoes beyond your lifetime. So today, I challenge you, reframe your approach to success. Stop chasing results, start creating value. Identify how your unique gifts can serve others, whether it's your customers, your team, your community, or the world at large. Lead with service and watch how success follows. Because at the end of the day, the ultimate riches come not from what you accumulate, but from what you contribute, from how many lives you touch, from the problems you help solve, from the legacy you build through service. This is your invitation to claim the greatest riches of all, the joy of knowing your success was earned, your impact was real, and your life was spent lifting others higher. Service isn't just noble, it's profitable, it's powerful, and it's the final master key to your richest, most fulfilling life. As we come to the end of this journey together, I want you to pause for a moment and truly reflect on what you've just discovered. The master key to riches is not some hidden formula locked away for the privileged few. It's not a mysterious code that only the wealthy or the lucky can access. It's a set of timeless principles, proven, practical, powerful, that are available to anyone, anywhere, willing to believe in themselves and take action. What Napoleon Hill taught us is simple yet life-changing. Your success, your wealth, your fulfillment, they all begin in the mind. They begin with belief. They take root with discipline, and they flourish through service to others. You don't need to wait for permission. You don't need someone to hand you an opportunity. You already hold the most valuable key, the ability to direct your thoughts, to ignite your purpose, to cultivate your potential, and to lead your life with courage and clarity. Every great success story started with that internal shift, the decision to take ownership, to align mindset with action, to rise after setbacks, and to serve beyond self-interest. You have that same potential within you right now. It doesn't matter your background, your struggles, or your starting point. The only thing that matters is your willingness to apply these principles. Not tomorrow, not someday, but today. So I encourage you to take bold, immediate action. Don't let these ideas remain words on a screen or passing thoughts in your mind. Turn them into daily habits, into courageous steps, into small, consistent choices that lead to massive change. And before you go, I'd love to hear from you. What was your biggest insight from this video? What principle spoke to your heart the most? Was it the power of definiteness of purpose, the unstoppable force of a positive mental attitude, the hidden gift of adversity, or the realization that true riches flow through service to others? Comment below and share your takeaway. It inspires others and it solidifies your own commitment to growth. If you found value in this video, please give it a like. It helps spread this wisdom to more people who need it. Share this with someone in your life who's ready for a breakthrough, who's tired of feeling stuck, and who deserves to know the truth about unlocking their own potential. And of course, subscribe to our channel, Summary Villa, for more powerful lessons, book summaries, and life-changing insights that empower you to create the success and fulfillment you deserve. Remember, the master key isn't hidden. It's within your reach. Your journey to riches in every sense starts the moment you decide to use it. Now is that moment.